not a suggestion book. The Torah is simply a rule book of how to achieve success in everything, in this world and the next. If you don't do it, it's not like if you do it, you succeed, and if you don't do it, you'll find something else that's better, or maybe not as good. No, the Torah is, if you do it, you will succeed. If you don't do it, you will fail at everything else that you will do. Yeah, my uncle has hundreds of millions of dollars. But guess what? A bunch of strangers are going to get it. All the money he worked for, strangers are going to have it. He's not going to enjoy it. Why? He's going to die soon from throat cancer. Unless by some miracle, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to give him another chance. Because right now, every single day he's alive is a miracle. Because he didn't get the signs. I almost died too. I had to fight for my life for a long time because I was stupid. I was playing with fire. I didn't understand. Oh, it's God that's doing all this. I thought it's like bad luck. I thought it's a bad doctor. After 50 bad doctors, I realized it's not the doctors. Don't be stupid like me. Be smart. The second version of me. But don't wait too late. That's in essence what we're trying to learn here. People play with fire, they get burned. It's not that Hashem wants to burn you. It's a reality. You put your hand in fire, you're going to get burned. It's not that the fire is a punishment. It's a reality. It's an outcome of your actions. If you defile the neshama that Hashem gave you, He has to destroy you. That's it. You have no right to be next to Him. He gave you a pure neshama. At the very least, we have to return it pure. The problem is, we return the neshama worse than what we got it. And yet we expect to go to Gan Eden. It's ludicrous. Imagine, your boss at a company says, listen, we like you, we want to put you in charge of $1 million account to take care of company business. Grow the company, build the company, do whatever you can. All right? Okay. We come back to you a couple of months later. No, so how much money did you make us with this $1 million? Turn it into $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million. What'd you do with it? No, we actually, you're in debt of $15 million. Not only did you not make us money, but you lost the money we gave you and you put us in debt of $15 million, and yet you want a promotion? You want to keep your job? Doesn't make any sense, right? When we make a sin, it's much worse than what I just gave you. Hashem gave us a neshama. You know what a neshama is? Your neshama has to travel 500 light years from Rakia to Rakia, different places in the heavens, in a matter of no time, to enter your body. Your neshama comes from under the Kiseh HaKavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It has to travel thousands of light years in a moment to enter your body. You got from the highest place and you came to this world, beautiful neshama. Hashem says, you know what? At least give it to me like I gave it to you. And prove a few things. That's the whole point of why you're here. Don't think you're going to get back to the Kiseh HaKavod if you're returning to Him something worse than what you got. That's in essence, when you have an opportunity to keep mitzvot, it's an opportunity to purify your neshama. It's an opportunity to purify yourself and get closer to Hashem. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the King of Kings. He's not going to be next to anything filthy. It's just not going to happen. He's the King of Kings. He's not your boy. He's not your friend. He's the King of Kings. So this is why we have to speak harshly at times to explain to people the worst thing you can do is sin intentionally. Sin accidentally happens. You're human. And tzaddik shelo yichta. Even the tzaddikim sin accidentally from time to time. Even tzaddikim. There's a pasuk in the Torah about it. But an intentional sin is completely different. You make an intentional sin, you have a very serious problem. First, you have to focus on stopping the intentional sins. Do everything you can. Understand that making an intentional sin is worse than turning an atomic bomb under yourself, not under somebody else's country. You're blowing yourself up. You will suffer from that intentional sin. You have to understand what this fire is. Why? Because that's the only way. You see a beautiful woman that's practically walking around with no clothes on. Unless you understand the fire and the circumstances that you're putting yourself in by staring at her, you're going to sin. Either with her, or with somebody else, or with yourself. You're going to sin. So what are you going to do? He said, no, this is fire. You can't even look. Can't even look. Well, it's fire. It's a bomb. I got to run away from this. You look away. It becomes a reflex. Now, I know to some people it sounds impossible. What do you mean? How do you not look? If you train yourself long enough, it becomes your nature. The second you see a woman, it's imanis, you look away. And you can even get to the point where the second you see a woman, you look away. You're still appropriate, you're still polite, you say hello, and if somebody is approaching you, ask you a question, yes, and we look. Now sometimes women tell me, listen, that woman that, my friend, I brought her to the lecture that you did over there, and my friend that spoke to you after the lecture, she had the black hat and the blue this and the black that. No, I don't know. No, woman that was there, I have no idea. No, but you were talking to her for 15 minutes. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why? I wasn't looking at her. I was looking behind her. I'm looking at your face, but I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at Sutton. You think I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at Sutton. Why? I had to train myself to do that. Because I can't tell her, listen, hey, yes, ma'am, she's over here. Yes, ma'am, listen, I can't do that. She'll be offended because she has no idea what I'm doing. So I have to pretend like I'm looking at you to look at somebody behind you. And hope that behind you there's something really, really ugly or a wall. Why? I know if I look at you, it's fire. It's fire. I don't want to get burned. That's what you have to do. You want to go to Gan Eden? That's what you have to do. To look at a woman that's forbidden to you is an isur from the Torah. To look, forget about be with her. To look at a woman that's forbidden to you. If she is somebody else's wife, it's already Eshet Ish. If she's nida, she's not your wife, but she's not your wife. She's nida. She's not anybody's wife. Single woman. She's forbidden to you. Can't look at her. She's a goya, not Jewish woman. Forbidden to you. Looking at her, you're already violating the Torah. Now, what do? You deal with things in a polite way. Hello, and that's it. Whatever you need to do, cashier, yes, but 1 second, no staring. Sometimes I remember in business, there were certain weird women that would like to, when they talk to you, they talk like this, like they want to look at your eyes. Like, what are you looking for? The brain behind my eyes? There's some weird people that want to look at you like this, like, no, what are you, high? Is something wrong? No, don't do that. Don't do that. If it's a opposite gender, look, but then after that, train yourself to not stare at people. Why? You have to protect your eyes. Because if you don't protect your eyes, evil will come to you at night. What's evil? The Shlomo Melech already tells us. Evil is wasting seed. So, when you understand that making this sin is fire, you will do whatever you can to avoid it. When you understand that non-kosher money is fire, you will do whatever you can to stop it. Rabbeinu Tam, the grandson of Rashi, one of the biggest giants in the world, every single day, every day of his life, he would read Parashat Ki Tavo, the scariest parasha in the Torah, specifically the section about who is cursed by Hashem. Cursed is the person who sins in hiding. Why is the person that sins in hiding cursed? Why isn't he just bad? Because the Chachamim explained to us, when you sin, when you do bad stuff, there are certain sins, there are certain bad things you would do, you're embarrassed to do in front of somebody. You're not going to do it next to your wife. You're not going to do it next to your husband. If your husband's there, you're not going to do it. If your son is there, you're not going to do it. If your neighbor is there, you're not going to do it. If your boss is there, you're not going to do it. If the police officer is there, you're not going to do it. Sometimes there's certain sins, if a dog is there, you're not going to do it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, look, you wouldn't sit next to your wife, you wouldn't sit next to your husband, you wouldn't sit next to your neighbor, you wouldn't sit next to your boss, you wouldn't sit next to the dog. But you're sitting in front of me all the time. Aru, you're the worst. You're scared of everybody except me. That makes you cursed. If you made sins in public, you don't care about everybody. Hashem says, okay, you're a really bad person, but at least you're treating all of us equally. But when Hashem is the only one you're not scared of, come on. So that's the thing. When a person knows what the sin means, he understands that when Rabbeinu Tam would literally study Parashat Ki Tavo every single day of his life. Why? He says, I need Yirat Shamayim. I need to be scared of making sins. Yeah, but you're a big chacham. So? Well, does that mean I have no Yetzirah? I have Yetzirah. Everybody has Yetzirah. You have to fight it. You have to fight the Yetzirah. You have to stay away from sins. Why? When you stay away from sins, your mitzvot become more enjoyable, your mitzvot become more natural, your mitzvot become part of you. But when you're making sins, even your mitzvot become defiled. Even your mitzvot become defiled. So that's one of the most critical things that a person needs to know. But again, you can't do tshuva for everything in one day. So each day, you choose something. Sometimes you may be 6 months or even 6 years working on one thing, because it's a big thing. You're working on your anger. That may take you 5-10 years to work on your anger. But work on it. As you get stronger with this, start adding other things that you're working on. But if you work on yourself every single day, you'll definitely improve your life, for sure. There's no doubt about it.